Good morning and welcome to the 2024 AHR Expo in Chicago. My name is Amalia Delianis and I'm the editor of Plumbing Engineer magazine. Right now I am standing in the CircuitSolver booth here at the Expo, and with me today I have two special guests. I have Tom Ruggierio, the Director of Sales for the Commercial Plumbing Division, and Anthony Ceresa, who is the Regional Sales Manager at CircuitSolver, a Thermo Megatech brand. They will be talking to us a little bit today about their line of products, and we're going to start with Tom. Tom, why don't you tell us a little bit about the CircuitSolver and what it does?
So CircuitSolver, I have a cutaway here of a CircuitSolver. It's a thermostatic balancing valve. By thermostatic, we mean temperature-based. So the heart of the CircuitSolver for all our products is basically a paraffin wax actuator within the CircuitSolver. And basically that actuator retracts and expands with temperature. So the way the valve operates is very simple. It monitors the water going through the valve. As the temperature increases, the wax melts and causes the actuator to expand, causing the valve to close. As the actuator, or as the water temperature starts cooling down, the actuator retracts and causes the valve to open up. So basically, it's just a dynamic device. It opens and closes based on the temperature of the water going through it.
Once it's installed, you don't have to do anything with it?
Exactly right. And that's what we say, install it and forget it.
Okay.
So it's a better alternative to the other types of balancing valves on the market where you have to manually adjust them to get the balancing. This automatically reacts to the temperature of the water going through it.
Okay.
And that's how it balances. So it's no power required, it's self-actuating, it just opens and closes. So engineers and contractors both love it. It's one product line where they both agree on. You put it in and it just does the job and you just walk away from it.
Oh, wow. Where can the CircuitSolver be installed?
Where it can be installed is any commercial building that has a domestic hot water loop system. So you've got hospitals, hotels, any hospitality, dormitories for universities, or any large building that would be on a university campus that you're going to want to recirculate hot water out to every location, every fixture.
Over the last 10 years, we've really enhanced the product line. Basically, when we first came out with CircuitSolver over 10 years ago, this was our basic CircuitSolver. It goes from a 1/2 inch to 2 inches with 4 sizes in between. And then over the years, we basically listened to the plumbing community, the engineers and the contractors. And so we've enhanced the product line here, and all these additions are all based on engineers and contractors asking us to add something to the capability. So the first thing we started with is the CircuitSolver, we call it CSU, CircuitSolver Union. So a lot of plumbing systems require a union and a check valve, and they're like discrete, they're separate from the valve. So we added everything in one valve now. So it reduces the number of leak points, it compresses the size of the installation, and it's a lot more reliable product, a lot more cost effective. Then from there, based again on a contractor actually in New York asked us to add ball valves on either side. So we started adding these assemblies, and it grew from there, just a CircuitSolver with ball valves on each side or shutoff valves to with a strainer, with a thermometer, with ProPress ends. So again, we enhanced the product line, and all these combinations can be intermixed.
Okay, so even with the combinations, is there any maintenance involved after you install it?
No, so again, that's what everybody likes about it. You just put it in, you don't have to worry about it. And a domestic hot water system is a dynamic system. It's always changing its conditions. So with CircuitSolver, it's always adapting to those changing conditions. Again, with the other types of products on the market, a lot of times the systems become unbalanced because they're not able to respond to the change of the dynamics of the system.
Okay, so are there any other advantages of the CircuitSolver valve that you'd like to talk about, Anthony?
Well, there are. Traditionally, most people would balance a system with manual balancing valves. And that is a lot of labor. It's labor intensive. You have to go through and you're manually adjusting those valves. And if you say have 30 to 150 valves on a project, that takes a lot of time, and you're trying to get this whole system balanced one turn at a time. With the thermostatic CircuitSolver valve, it does it all automatically.
So Anthony, can you give me a product demonstration on how the CircuitSolver works?
Absolutely. So here's a cutaway of our valve, and you can see the internal components of it. And in here, you've got a paraffin wax element that's inside the stainless steel housing. And as the water temperature changes as it flows through here, and it increases, the hotter the water will expand the wax, and it will make the actuator close the valve, saying that it has enough hot water. What we have here is a cold water bath and a hot water bath. The paraffin wax element has been sitting in this cold water bath, and I'm going to put it into the hot water bath, and we'll be able to see just by this gauge the reaction of the actuator. And you can see how quickly it's reacting to the hot water temperature. And that's one of the advantages of CircuitSolver valve.
Do you have any new product lines that you'd like to talk about today, gentlemen?
Sure. So we recently came out with what we call cold water, CircuitSolver cold water, which works the opposite of this. CircuitSolver, the basic one, operates on hot water systems, closing on hot water. The cold water system basically does the opposite. It basically, as the water gets cooler, it closes. And so the applications for that, we've done a number of VA hospitals where they're actually recirculating cold water, not just hot water, for Legionella issues and things like that, and trying to mitigate the growth of waterborne pathogens and things like that. But the other newest application we came up with the cold water valve, the new valve, is liquid-cooled data centers. You can have on a server rack, you could have 42 servers, and then you can have several racks. So you think, like Anthony said, it could be like hundreds of balancing valves. So again, to do that manually would be a nightmare. To do it thermostatically is a huge savings in labor. And again, you don't want to be fooling with these servers. You don't want these things overheating or going down. Right. So this is a great solution for that.
Fantastic. I understand you have an array of other products on display at the show.
We do have a few other products.
Do you want to talk a little bit about those as well?
This one is our drain tempering valve. And what we use this for, it's applications that have hot effluents that are going to go down the drain. So that would be a commercial dishwasher, an autoclave, a boiler blowdown system where it's going to expel, a machine will expel, could be 180 degrees down the drain. Mm-hmm. By code, you can't put 140 or more down there. So we need something to take that temperature down. So what this is as a cold water inlet, you would install this into a T, and as that hot effluent passes over the actuator, it would open up this valve so that cold water can mix with the hot water and bring the temperature down so before it goes down the drain.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So I just want to point out one other thing. The other way of doing that is either you have to run a 10-foot section of cast iron pipe or have mixing tanks with temperature sensors and solenoid valves. And also, the contractors really love this product because it checks all the boxes. Even if for an installation, you don't need an electrician, all you need is a mechanic to do it. So it's a great product, it takes up a lot less space, very cost effective. And then we also have the thermal disinfection valve. So Legionella in the US has grown by a factor of 5 over the last 20 years. So big concerns with Legionella. There's a lot of different ways people are trying to mitigate Legionella in domestic hot water systems. In Europe, thermal disinfection is almost exclusively used, and it's used a lot in Canada too. It's starting to be used more and more in the United States. So what thermal disinfection is, Legionella dies at 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So what they do with the thermal disinfection is periodically they will basically run very hot water into the domestic hot water system, 160 to 170 degrees. So now you have two different balancing issues. One is you're balancing your normal 120 degree system, and then when you do thermal disinfection, you have to balance it at 167. So this valve does both of those things.
Wow.
It's a great product. Again, it's used mostly in healthcare.
And when did this come out, this product line come out?
This has been out for a few years, 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years.
What can our readers expect from your organization in the year ahead?
So we think 2024 will be another really good year for CircuitSolver, as the past 9 years have been. We're going to be exhibiting at 4 trade shows, this being one of them. And then we have CMPX show in Toronto, Canada in March. Mm-hmm. We also have a facilities management show in Washington, D.C. in March. And then we have our ASPE show in September. You know, we really try to promote thought leadership. So we have 3 ASPE approved presentations for CEU credits. And so throughout the year, we'll go out to a lot of the local ASPE monthly chapters, and we'll basically do presentations there. We have some new products coming too, but we can't talk about
them yet. Is there anything you'd like to add today to our conversation?
I appreciate all our users of CircuitSolver out there. They're taking a chance with us over the last 10 years. We think thermostatic balancing valves now has really kind of reached the tipping point compared to the manual balancing valves that Anthony talked about. Again, we just want to thank everybody for using CircuitSolver, and keep it up. Appreciate it.